my comments, in fact, knowledge and social order. Social order. Order is something that is intimately related with what we are discussing here. Order is maybe the outcome of social power. And that's why, in fact, as we'll see, as my comments later on will probably demonstrate, in fact, the whole evolution of humankind is, in fact, a continuous search for order. In fact, we evolved from the jungle or the savannas and so on by creating order. And the means through which we created order was, in fact, social power, as Gary has defined. So this is to answer the question put by Gary. What is the source of power? Well, it's society, right? Society, and I agree very much with what society is. Society is the source of power, right? Society, and I agree very much with what Gary described society and all that description of its maybe parts or categories, formal structures, organized activities, informal institutions, social potential, and so on. This is, in fact, what society is constituted about. I would add something. I would put and their interactions, right? Society is, in fact, all this and all the interactions, the connections, their conflicts that are going on and along. I'm a great believer in the studies of complexity and what complexity is about. And in fact, complexity is really everything is connected. So there are no parts. So we cannot say in complexity, in terms of complexity theory, that the whole is above the parts. That is to say, society is higher than people, than human beings. In fact, they are all, in terms of complexity theory, the parts or the members and the whole are all at the epistemological level. And that is very important in terms of analysis. What is the difference between the members and the whole is that the whole obeys rules, properties that the parts don't have. But that is a result of what? Of connections, interconnections, and so on. That's why this difference arises. Where this difference that was just made between individual and social is, in fact, in many theories. Here I follow Manuel Castells in his book on power. He, for instance, talks about power as being more like human to human, relational. Power is relational, right? It's one-to-one, whereas power relationships, the way they are established, are framed by domination. And in fact, this is really what social power is about. Domination is, in fact, social domination in the nomenclature of Castells is, in fact, what Gary was telling about this social power, right? So, in fact, when talking about social power, we must not forget, and we have a session later on human relations and social power. In fact, it all begins with people, of course, but there is also much power invested in institutions, and that is the result of a set of relations. So it may be interesting to make this connection to understand why society is a source of power, but power is so much distributed. Not perfectly, of course. The distribution of power is very important, but but this issue of social power is tantamount to understand. Just to finish, I'll pass to point two. How is power, or social power to some extent, exercised? It has in fact two main components. One is violence. All power is violent in terms of the deployment of force. It means changing something. So that is violence against what it is. Right? If I move a stone from one place to the other, I'm exercising my power. Of course, I don't call this violence, but the stone, if the stone would be living, it would call it violence. So that's one way, the classical way of understanding power. But there is another one, which is very important and arises quite, in the last decades, which is the construction of meanings, or the appropriation of meanings from others and its reinterpretation. And that is what we can call the deployment of authority, because we have always these two balances, force and authority. And you only resort to force when authority is no longer possible. Because force is something that you have to do it carefully. Okay, thank you.